All right. I'm not a huge sports fan or anything, but I do like my baseball. And my team is the New York Mets. Hence, I had to dig this out of my closet because I don't think I've worn it in maybe since I bought it a few years ago. But if you didn't know, the New York Mets are in the playoffs this year, and they've been a complete underdog coming back from 11 games below 500. I don't know if you're not a sports fan, you may not like this video, but trust me, I will tie it in to music and being a musician and all the things that go, especially mentally, with not only baseball, but being a musician. The title of this video is Be More Like Lindor. And if you don't know, Francisco Lindor plays shortstop for the New York Mets, and he has been so hot this year, especially up, people are talking about how he should be the MVP, and like he's just making things happen. Okay, he is the team captain, the team leader, if you will, unofficially. But all that to say, I've been watching the Mets this year, and I try to watch every single game, all 162 of them during the regular season, which I know is like, it's a pretty major time commitment. Although it's gotten better with the new pitch clock, so the games are shorter. The games are around 2.5 hours now, where they used to run three, even 3+, 3.5, sometimes even longer than that. I've been trying to watch every game, and if I can't watch a game, maybe because I'm playing a gig or I'm out of town or something, later on that day I will try to watch the condensed version of the game just to keep up on the day-to-day happenings and who's done what, how did they win, how did they lose, how did the pitchers do, etc., etc. I subscribe to the MLB app, which is not cheap, but it's something that brings me joy, and it's something that distracts me from music or the music business. Not that I need distraction from music, because I really don't, but it's nice to have a hobby. It's nice to have something that's completely unrelated in some terms to music and to what I do for a living. And it's just something that relaxes me. I can put the ball game on, even if I don't pay close attention to it. The sound of it sort of relaxes me. The baseball announcers, the sportscasts voices, the crowd noise, just the knock of the ball on the bat. I don't know. Maybe it's something that's I grew up, because it's something I grew up with. I played baseball when I was young. Honestly, I gave up sports altogether when I went, after probably like around high school years, and did not pay any attention to anything sports related until the year 2000. In the year 2000. Yeah, if you get that reference. I was working on cruise ships at the time, and I was stationed on a ship in Alaska for the summer. And very shortly into that contract, I went hiking on a mountain and got lost, fell down, and broke my left wrist. So I flew home that summer of 2000, and lived with my parents for the remainder of the summer, basically. It was a couple of months, I think about 2 months or so, by the time I got my cast off and had some PT and whatnot. Anyway, the point of the story is I started watching baseball that summer because there was nothing to do. I couldn't play the drums at all with a cast on my wrist. And a good friend of mine who still lived in the area, always was a Mets fan. And so almost like clockwork, I would eat dinner with my family and then drive over to my friend's house in the evening and watch the Mets play. And this was like every single day during the summer. And summer of 2000, the Mets actually made it to the World Series, and it was a Subway Series. They played the Yankees, and of course they lost. One thing to know about being a Mets fan, it's a life of misery and disappointment. At least, hopefully, until this year. I think we have a good chance this year. So, all that to say, be more like Lindor. All right, so who is Lindor? Francisco Lindor, like I said, plays shortstop for the New York Mets, and he has this big contract with them, and it's taken him a while to get sort of comfortable there and start producing like the ball player that we know that he can be. But he's doing it now. And he's been up for MVP awards this year. And even though he got snubbed with the All-Star game and just got snubbed with the Golden Glove award, literally like today or yesterday when they made that announcement, he's still, in my mind, he's still an MVP. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, first of all, Lindor is always smiling. He just looks happy. He looks like the kind of guy that lights up the room when he walks in. Everyone just wants to be around somebody like that, okay? In my mind, I'm thinking, how can I be more like Lindor? And so I'm going to give you some reasons here. So I'm going to list out some things some qualities of Lindor that I think I would like to be more like. All right? He comes through in the clutch. He hits the home run when it matters most. When we need someone to step up, he's there and we can count on him. Now, transfer that to the musician life. You're in the studio and maybe something's not clicking. Maybe the part you're playing just isn't working. Maybe you've been asked to work up an intro or an ending or some sort of arrangement idea. Or maybe you've just been asked to change the beat. This groove ain't working for this song. It's not mixing well with the vocals. We need you right now to change it. Right here, right now, in front of everybody with the red light on. All right? And yeah, you can ask for 5 minutes and say, and work something up. And you know what, guys, take a 5-minute break. I'm going to work on this for a second. Come back and we're going to do this in a new way. That's called being in the clutch. When you succeed in those situations, when we're all counting on you and you succeed and you bring the team with you to victory, that's coming through in the clutch when you're needed the most. All right? He's a leader. He gets the team going. He's a motivator, a positive force on the team. He's somebody that the others really want to rally behind, and they fall in behind him as he leads the team through whatever it is they're going through, whether it's a loss or a victory or during the game, a battle, a tight game, a tight battle in a game. At one point, in the lowest point of the season this year, he called a team meeting when things were so bad, and the result of the team meeting was that it created a long winning streak for the team. It really turned things around for the team. He gives credit to the whole team, even when it's he who won the game, and he's not afraid to admit to his mistakes. No one is perfect, but he'll always get up when he's been knocked down. He's always been best dressed. He dresses for success. This is something you can definitely take with you as a musician. Dress to kill. When you dress right, you feel good. This includes not only your clothing, but your hairstyle, your shoes, accessories, etc. People respect you when you respect yourself. This is something you can exercise every day, every morning, whether you're on a gig or not, whether you're living on stage or if you're in the studio or if you're just a songwriter who's working out of your bedroom. Dress for your part. The way you dress makes you feel a certain way. Now, I don't mean wear a tuxedo on the gig, because that's crazy. Who wants to wear a tuxedo anyway? Not me. Just look the part. Own it. And dressing a certain way helps you own it mentally. It's a mental thing. All right? Lindor doesn't try to do too much. He's able to contribute and keep the momentum going for the team. He doesn't put the weight of the world on his shoulders. All right? He knows that if he does something good, his teammates will be there to pass the torch so they can carry it. So, it's not like Lindor has to hit a home run every time he's at bat. No, sometimes a walk, sometimes just a single, or sometimes even just a sacrifice fly if there's a guy in third base and it scores the go-ahead run. These are examples of not having to do too much, right? He doesn't have to cure cancer every time he goes up to bat. And you should feel this way too. When you're playing a song and you have maybe an 8-bar drum solo, don't feel like you have to reinvent the instrument in those 8 bars. Just say something that's meaningful. And it can be so simple. It can just be, eighth notes, or but if you play like you're trying to solve the world's problems, then that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And so you need to just relax and not feel like you have to do so much. All right? Lindor plays pretty much every game, 162 games in the regular season. That's a grind. Imagine playing 162 shows and traveling from city to city, time zone to time zone. 162 shows that's a lot of shows. I don't know about you. I mean, when I toured with Tracy Lawrence, we played about 94 shows, I think it was, through the whole year, from January till mid-December. We were busy. That's around average 2-3 shows per week. As another example, I was on the road with Mannheim Steamroller. We played, I think it was 46 shows in 2 months. Not even 2 months, it was 7 weeks. So 7 weeks, 46 shows. That's a lot of shows. We had 5 days off in those 7 weeks. That's a grind. And we're talking about playing baseball. We're not talking about playing guitar or drums or singing. I don't want to belittle what we do, but we're not playing baseball. We're not athletes. Although we like to think that we are in some ways, and I think it's a good sort of mental state of mind to have to treat your body like you're an athlete. But we, in essence, we're not athletes like baseball players are athletes playing 162 games in a season. That is a grind. 9 innings of ball, hitting, catching, throwing, running, jumping, stretching, sprinting, stealing bases, diving for the ball. I mean, that's why guys, injuries happen all the time on baseball teams. With Lindor, he played almost all the games in the regular season this year until the very, very end of the season, where he injured his back and he was out for about 8 or 9 games. But then he came back, even though he wasn't 100%. His back was still hurting him, and he made it very clear that he was not healed and that his back was still bothering him. But he was back out there in the field and still hitting in the clutch. And he just works hard. When you have it's like when you have a day off, take it and enjoy it and use it to the max. But when it's time to go back to work, be ready and work hard. And last but not least, I'll leave you with this. He's an MVP. Ask yourself, how can you be an MVP in your band or in your musical situation? What can you do to make yourself more valuable? What can you do to make yourself a catalyst for winning, for success? With Lindor, it's simple, because the Mets would not be where they are without him. And that's why, in my mind, he's the MVP. And it's as simple as that. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Be more like Lindor.